Ladies and gentlemen, I just can't get enough of people's expertise in different subjects. It almost seems like everybody's a renaissance man with all of the different things that people know. I mean, at first, people are medical experts, they know everything about the vaccine and things like that. And then, 2 months go by, and then all of a sudden they're foreign policy experts with Ukraine. Like, everybody could be a politician and just negotiate with Vladimir Putin, like, head to head, right? And now people have just, like, taken a step back and they've dumbed themselves down to 16-year-old teenage girls that like to talk about the tea that was spilled last night. What's going on, everybody? Cryptics. And I gotta tell you, man, first and foremost, Will Smith did give Chris Rock the business, if you know what I mean. I mean, he was clapping Chris Rock's cheek, just one cheek, all right? And I'm pretty sure that's the only cheek he was clapping that night, if you know what I'm saying. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, guys, don't forget to drop a like. Let's aim for, 50 likes on this video. You guys crushed the like goal on the previous vid. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You know the drill. Let's get into it. All right, so basically, I think the best way to explain this whole thing, as well as some backstory here, is to present the clip to you. Now, I will just give you a quick background. Chris Rock did host the Grammy, and he was, being a comedian. He is a comedian. He was, basically just telling jokes. Now let's roll the clip.
Can't win! He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Now, obviously, there's a lot to break down here. Most of you probably already know the angles that I'm going to speak about because I am late to the party. But basically, Chris Rock, he was having a good time hosting these awards. And basically, Chris Rock decided to make a joke about Jada Smith. Now, Jada Smith, the G.I. Jade thing, that was basically just saying, she's got, a bald head or, no hair, right? And it's actually interesting because a lot of women have decided to take that hairstyle, right? It's not just, oh, they're sick and people just assume that nowadays. It's 2022. A lot of women, they decide to get buzz cuts. That's actually a thing, right? So Chris Rock did say, G.I. Jade to, Jada threw that whole comment out, right? And the backstory there is that Jada has alopecia, I think it is called. It's basically where your immune system decides to attack your hair follicles and basically your hair falls out, right? And for, some reason, people are saying Chris Rock is in the utter wrong here for this comment, saying, oh, Chris Rock, shame on you, you had this coming, things like that, right? But again, like I said before, women do actually have that type of hairstyle without actually having any type of medical disorder or anything like that, right? Now, the other thing is that people are saying, oh, Jada is very public about her alopecia and things like that. But also, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, not everybody is just, watching every live stream, every post from Jada Smith, right? There's a bunch of other celebrities out there. Some people like me, I don't really pay much attention to celebrities at all and their backstory and whatever they got going on with them, right? But yeah, Jada has this whole medical thing. Chris Rock, he probably has to rehearse this thing, rehearse the event. He was, probably doing a couple of movie things, maybe it's scenes or audio clips, things like that. That guy's busy too, right? He has no time to watch a live stream about Jada Smith talking about her alopecia, right? So he was probably just making this joke about what he thought was her hairstyle, but in reality, could have been that he didn't know about it And, you know, she has this disorder, so it made him kind of look bad. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It did make him look bad on paper, but when you try to break it down, he may have not known about this whole disorder that she did have, right? Moving on, you know, Will Smith was laughing at the joke initially. You could see the look on Jada's face. She was basically giving the look to Will Smith, like, if you don't do nothing, I'm just gonna go back to August. That's the look that she was giving to Will Smith right there. And then within like a split second, right, this is all live, Will Smith got up and, you know, walked on stage, which is a pretty long walk, mind you. This is a pretty big arena, a pretty big setting. So he took the time to go through all that, walk up to the stage. Chris Rock was still laughing. He had his hands behind his back, and then Will Smith smacked him, all right? Now, the smack was, I would say, pretty good form, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Will Smith had one arm up just in case Chris Rock was going to clap back. The form in terms of, like, the torque that Will Smith had, it was just clean. I got to tell you, it was pristine form by Will Smith, right? And you could see one split second, people are saying this is staged, and this is the only frame that you could argue as to maybe this is staged to up the, you know, Grammy numbers. If you guys don't know, the Grammys have just been terrible in terms of viewership, so people are thinking it's fake and staged. But I think the only frame that really shows that this could be staged is Will Smith. Basically, when he turns around after the slap, you see Chris Rock, he's like, oh no, he did it, folks. And then Will Smith is also laughing. He's like smiling, right? I don't know if he's smiling because, you know, he did something like that, or if he's smiling because, you know, it was kind of a hidden gem that was rehearsed for the Grammy Awards. Now, after that, you know, things kind of got a little awkward because, you know, the smack was heard through the microphone, so it sounded even louder than it actually was. And then after that, Will Smith basically said twice, "Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth." And basically, you know, Chris Rock was just like appalled, I guess. He was just really shocked. And, you know, he took it on the chin, man. That guy's got an iron chin for that type of perfect form slap that Will Smith gave him. And he basically just moved on with the show. He did fumble his word like one time in one sentence and basically said, oh, we're going to give a documentary out. And people are like even clowning Chris Rock for that. I don't think that's like clowning him at all. He didn't even touch his cheek or anything like that. He took it like a champ. And he basically just said, oh, we're giving a documentary. I mean, you know, giving an award for a documentary or something along those lines. But basically, you know, Chris Rock, I think, you know, basically handled it well. Now, there's a lot of different things here that I'm going to just try to break down. First off, Jada, like back in like 2019, 2020, she had a podcast with her husband, Will Smith, and basically said, you know, I was in an affair with a couple of people in the span of a few years. And she said this to Will Smith. And not only that, they were in an open relationship, so a lot of people are saying, oh, that's fine. But it's the way Jada delivered it. She basically said, you know, they have a lot of energy. They're, you know, able to, you know, do things that I really haven't felt in a while. Like things along those lines. Basically dragging Will Smith and his reputation in the bed, if you know what I'm saying. So it just kind of left a bad taste in his mouth. He was a meme for God knows how long. You can still look up the pain meme and you'll see Will Smith there, like easy, in like the first few rows on Google Images. It might even be the first row if you just look up pain meme. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Jada did drag him. She's also been very public about, you know, some of the poems Tupac wrote for her. Like, I don't know, that's got to be like almost 30 years ago at this point. But she still reads these poems that he gave her. And it's kind of bizarre, right? Because at the one hand, you have the legend Tupac, but this also was a thing 30 years ago. And she's reading these poems, putting them on social media as if like Tupac was like her, you know, ex-husband or something like that. Like, no, she's married to Will Smith. She's dragging him on podcasts, and she's basically reading poems that guys wrote for her like 30 years ago. It's just a very bizarre human being, if I do say so myself. And a lot of women are saying, yeah, you know, go Will Smith for this. You know, Chris Rock had it coming and things like that. But if you don't recall the clip, Will Smith was laughing at the joke initially. Then he saw Jada. Then he decided to slap him. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is if Jada wasn't at this event, Will Smith would have probably laughed this type of joke off and just brushed it aside. But because he's got to prove something to his wife, because his wife dragged him on podcasts saying, oh, you know, these other men that I'm with, they have a lot of energy, things like that. He's got to go up there and do something, or else she's just gonna, you know, be pissed off that he didn't stand up for her honor or something like that, right? And there's a lot of women out there like that too, where even if it's like a joke, if the boyfriend doesn't beat the guy up that made the joke, like, she's gonna leave that type of dude. It's a really bizarre thing when you think about it, right? Because if any of the, you know, situations were reversed and Chris Rock was making a joke about Will Smith for whatever reason, like, Jada probably would have laughed at it. Most likely, more often than not, would have laughed at that type of joke, right? And she wouldn't have gotten up there to slap Chris Rock or make any type of big deal about it. But because it's the other way around, you know, she basically wanted to cause a scene and give Will Smith, like, this look and essentially try to convince him to do something about it, right? So that was another thing. And on top of all of this, like, Chris Rock, at the end of the day, like, he's a comedian, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna throw jabs, he's gonna throw, you know, like, jokes here and there, right? And he might not have even known that Jada has alopecia, which is, again, that disease that essentially she has, right? So he might not have even known about this situation, and just made the joke because of her hairstyle, or so he thought. And then people are trying to, like, you know, make fun of Chris Rock for being this, like, jerk or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, it's kind of weird. Now, apparently Chris Rock and Will Smith do have some, like, beef, like, some background beef that, like, no one knows about. But again, like, even if you have, like, some type of tension and he makes a joke about, like, your wife's hairstyle, like, you know, I don't know if that really deserves a slap, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it is kind of bizarre to just go up there because your wife gave you a look, even though you enjoyed the joke, to slap the guy that did it. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, it just doesn't really make much sense to me, other than Jada potentially emotionally abusing Will Smith in the background that we know nothing about. So at the end of the day, man, like, it's just kind of a weird situation. I think, you know, Will Smith and Chris Rock apparently like kind of just made up and didn't have any beef after that, and Chris Rock didn't press any charges. But at the end of the day, there's one hand where you got people saying it's staged, other people that you're saying it's real. I think it's real. I mean, just from the anger that Will Smith had in his voice. But yeah, definitely a bizarre situation. I gotta say, man, like, if this type of thing continues where, like, comedians can't even make jokes, I know it's kind of, like, you know, bad in hindsight, but he might have just made fun of her hairstyle. Like, what if, you know, Will Smith came in with green hair? You know, of course Chris Rock would have made fun of that. You know what I'm saying, man? So I don't really think Chris Rock knew about the alopecia. If he did, I guess that's a different story. But again, if he doesn't know about her life or anything like that and just thought it was, you know, the haircut that she had, I don't really think that's, like, a bad joke, you know what I'm saying? Now, again, if he knew about it, then it is a bad joke, and it kind of does deserve some type of slap, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yeah, definitely bizarre, and Will Smith, he's definitely whipped, I gotta say, man. I mean, if someone dragged me on a podcast, I don't know what I would do. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think about this situation, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Cryptix. Definitely not clapping Chris Rock's cheeks in public, especially on the Grammy stage, anytime soon. And signing off.